We're back from break, and today's guest is Clint Churchill, trustee of the Estate of James Campbell and former commander of Hawaii Air National Guard. So before break, Clint, we were talking about your experience in air. Do you miss it today?
Well, I'm still flying. I retired 12 years ago from the Air Guard and set up a company, Acroflight Inc, and bought an extra 300, which is an unlimited category aerobatic plane. So that business is involved with first-time aerobatic flight experience for folks that find out about me on the website and so forth. A little bit of instruction and 1 or 2 air shows a year. So that's kept me pulling G's like we were talking about earlier.
But you're flying in these air shows with like the Blue Angels or like the one that was just in Waikiki and so on, weren't you?
Yes, I did fly in the air show with the Blue Angels in 2004, I believe it was. We were out of the country for the one last October at Kaneohe.
So you're doing lessons in it, or you just take people up and take them in your plane?
Both. I've had some students that want to learn how to do aerobatic maneuvers and aerobatic competition routines. Aerobatics has a whole competition format of sportsman, intermediate, advanced, unlimited. So as folks learn the different maneuvers, they can move up through the categories and keeping the plane in a certain what we call aerobatic box for the competition routines.
Did you always want to fly when you were young?
No, not when I was real young. I did have one private plane flight when I was, I think 7 or 8 years old. But I really got the bug with my father-in-law had an airplane, and we flew back from Arizona to Indiana one time, and that's kind of where I really got the bug. And
he said, "Grab onto it. You're driving us home."
Well, yeah. In fact, I did spend a fair bit of time in the co-pilot seat, and learning and just observing the navigation and working the radios and managing. This was a 2-engine plane, a fairly complex airplane, and I was just excited and challenged by the potential of flying. And so once I started taking lessons, it's been in my blood for the last 44 years or so.
Has your flying experience helped you in business at all?
I would say so. Of course, the better part of my flying career has been through the Air National Guard, and the military discipline. One thing I would comment on, going through Air Force pilot training, was really an opportunity to find out how much you have and how much you're capable of. They really give you a lot in that 53-week course. You're in there with, in my case, about 63 other, at the time, all young men and now young ladies, with the same challenge. So the competition among and between each other, achieving, you want to always do well on your academic tests and your flight tests. So I think that perhaps that achievement mode and knowing that was probably the busiest yet the most fun year of my life, and I think my wife would say the same thing. So I guess the bottom line there is the more you're challenged, the more rewarding it becomes, and the more fulfilling.
You mentioned that you were doing consulting with Touche Deloitte?
Touche Ross and Company at the time, now Deloitte and Touche, yes.
Okay, and then you were a controller also, financial controller. Those are like 2 different positions. Were you just trying to fill out what you wanted, where you would fit into a company, or? No,
they were very similar. In fact, the opportunity when I became controller at Gasbro was through a good friend, Mike Clifford. He was the controller there, and I was actually calling on him to perhaps talk about systems implementation, new ideas for financial systems for computers. And we're talking the 1973-74 time frame now, when a lot of companies had mainframes, but applications online to the various departments, things like that were relatively new. So one of the main responsibilities of the controller at Gasbro was the computer systems. So there's a very much a parallel there. And of course that grew into more of the financial accounting end and the like, and the controller position evolved to be financial VP and the CFO.
You've got a pretty varied background of things that you've done. Everything from Nature Center to Chairman of Special Olympics, to Deloitte & Touche and so on. I mean, how do you move between these companies and so on that seem so different?
Well, I think it's the there's an ethic there of community service, and I've just found over the years that the opportunities to serve the community in different capacities have come, and I would encourage your listeners to take those opportunities and experience different aspects of life. Special Olympics was one of the earlier activities I became involved in, and was it ever rewarding for all those many years? Kapilani Medical Center has now evolved to Hawaii Pacific Health, and the opportunity to go down to the neonatal intensive care unit and see the premature babies, and to be part of that organization that's providing such good service to the community. In the case, of course, of Special Olympics to disadvantaged and needy individuals, and how fulfilling that is to them, translates up even at the board level to a very fulfilling and rewarding activity.
How are you choosing which organization you want to be a part of?
Perhaps a passion for their mission, and it's probably a different story with each one. It's seeing what they do, going to a Special Olympics event, going up to the Nature Center and seeing the young school children on field trips, a lot of them going to urban schools that never have an opportunity to get out into the country, and seeing them find a tadpole or get some mud squished between their toes, and seeing the smiles on their face, and in that case the value that's being instilled of protecting our environment as they grow up to be adults. So you see that, and you see what a difference it's making. So it's probably a story or a background behind each organization, and then once you're engaged, I guess another thing to encourage folks is really be engaged, be passionate about what you're doing, be committed. When you're called on to do something, carry it through. Over the years, I've kind of evolved to a fundraising role, and have enjoyed that. A lot of board members, for example, don't really care to fundraise. So these nonprofits all need help, especially in this day and age, with our economy on tough times. So they need the help of folks that are involved and active in the business career to help them in the same sense in their nonprofit setting.
Thanks, Clint. We'll talk more about that after the break. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.